Welcome, everybody. We are so glad you could join us. Tonight on the porch, we have Annie at 15 Acre Homestead. We have Shauna at Homegrown Self-Reliance. And we have Kathy at Oak Hill Homestead. Tonight, we've been talking about the seeds that we need for our garden. And right now, the big question is, where can you find them? I mean, we're having a lot of problems locating companies that can get our seeds. Well, I might be able to help you with that. I have a few companies that I work with and have ordered from, and I really like them. Forgive me because I am going to read a little bit so I make sure I don't miss anything for you. The first one that I like is Mary's Heirloom Seeds. Mary's is a great company. The seeds are wonderful. When I've ordered, almost every seed I've ordered has germinated. But she offers vegetables, herbs, flowers, grains, and fruits. But she also orders some great starter kits and perfect, wonderful gifts for a gardener. Right now, she is at a 21-day shipping schedule due to an overwhelming increase in orders. So take that into consideration if you want to order. Another real favorite with homesteaders is Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. Now, that's one of my favorite places, and I love their selection. It is where I order my lemon squash every year if I can't save it. But according to their website, they are temporarily closed to restock and disinfect their offices. They will be back online on April the 28th. Seeds for Generation is another one of the homesteader favorites. Now, this is a family business owned by Jason Mateus and his family. They offer organic heirloom seeds of excellent quality. One of my favorite things about the Seeds for Generation is their free garden planning calculator. It comes in real handy when you're trying to determine how much to plant. Currently, they are still shipping, and they're updating their stock as fast as they can. Another one of my favorite companies is Seeds from Italy. Now, this is where I order all of my Italian-type heirloom herbs and vegetables. I not only get my basil from them, but I also get my Principe Borghese tomato. Now, that's a cherry-type tomato. Barbara Kingsolver turned me on to this variety when I read her book, Animal Vegetable Miracle. When I saw her recipe for antipasta tomatoes, I knew I had to try it. And I'm glad I did. Every time I make them, they are the first thing to go. People love them. And they are still shipping right now with a 5 to 6 day business day for shipping. Annie's Heirloom Seeds is a new one to me, and I have not talked with anybody else that's used them. I got a gift certificate from my sister for Christmas, and I ordered some of her seeds. They're really good. Her service was great, and when I had a question, they answered it right away. They are still shipping, and they have a 7 to 10 day turnaround. But the website did note, and it's something you need to pay attention to, they are substituting for any out of stock items. So keep this in mind when you place an order. Johnny's, we've all heard of Johnny's Seeds. They are currently only accepting orders for commercial farmers. They do expect to resume shipping to home gardeners on April 28th, but it remains to be seen. Burpees is a company you may be familiar with. You will see them in your co-op or your local farm store. They offer both heirloom and hybrid seeds, and I've used them with good results. Currently, they are taking orders, but there may be some delay in shipping. Territorial Seeds is another family-owned business. Their website includes not only the heirloom seeds, but also they have a great post on insects. And those posts have some fairly comprehensive information on each insect. They also grow a plant growing guide that's very helpful. As far as orders, they're currently taking them, but there will probably be a delay in shipping like everybody else. Their website states there are some new ordering terms. So if you order from them, be sure you read that before you place your order. I have one non-traditional place where I've ordered seeds before and I really like them. It is called Seed Savers Exchange. They are actually a tax-exempt nonprofit organization that is dedicated to the preservation of heirloom seeds. Memberships to this is offered, but it's not required to order. They sell seeds, but they also have a large population of heirloom gardeners who contribute heirloom seeds as well in order to preserve a particular variety. It would be like me sending in my heirloom seeds that have been cultivated to withstand the heat and humidity and the drought of our summers. It's still an heirloom, but it's just kind of evolved to work in my area. From what I can tell on their website, you can still currently order some seeds from them. I have a post on the Farm Wife that gives actual links to each of these sites, and it should make it easy for you to find. But now that you've ordered your seeds, how do you choose which ones you want? And that's where Shauna comes in. She'll give us some great information on that.
Hey guys, so once you find a company that you want to work with on buying your seeds, there's a couple things you want to determine before you purchase anything. You want to determine how long your growing season is. You can look up your zip code and find the hardiness zone. That'll tell you your first and last frost date. And then you can use timeanddate.com to figure out the length of time between your last spring frost date and your first fall frost date. That is what you want to keep in mind, especially with the longer growing crops. You don't want to get anything that requires more than your growing zone will have, unless you really want to start your seeds really early in the season before your last frost date. Of course, that would be starting inside in a greenhouse, that sort of thing, to get them going good and actually get a harvest before the end of your season. So there is heirloom seeds and hybrid seeds. If you want to save your seeds from one year to the next, you need to get heirloom seeds. Those are the ones that will actually breed true, and you'll get a plant that's just like its mother, basically, when you replant it the next year. Hybrid plants typically don't breed true. You might get something that's totally different than what you planted one year if you save those seeds and plant them the next year. So it's really a good idea to get the heirloom seeds that will breed true. Heirloom, most of you are probably familiar with heirloom tomatoes. Those are pretty popular in farmers markets and that sort of thing. Their fruit's a little bit erratic, funky colors and shapes, and popular at farmers markets. So if you want to grow something to sell at the farmers market, heirlooms are a good choice. Hybrids are a little more uniform. They're the ones that you buy at the grocery store. They're uniform shape and size and color and that sort of thing. And then there is also indeterminate and determinate seeds. So the indeterminates are also called vining plants. They will get really big, and they don't stop growing throughout your growing season. So, and they should produce most of that growing season as well until they're no longer able to. Determinate tomatoes are really good if you want to can your tomato, your vegetables. because they give a big crop all about the same time. So the indeterminates, you'll get, you know, a few tomatoes here and there spread out throughout the whole season. So for tomatoes, for the example, if you want to eat tomatoes throughout the season, then you'll want to get the indeterminate. If you're going to be canning, like this year, we're going to be doing a lot of our own spaghetti sauce and that sort of thing. So we've got the determinate tomatoes. I'm doing a lot of aromas. So that way you can have your whole crop to be able to can pretty much in one sitting rather than spacing them out and doing them multiple times. Indeterminate and determinate usually describes tomatoes, but it can also distinguish different types of cucumbers, potatoes, peas, beans, and strawberries. Strawberries will be the everbearing. Those are going to be your indeterminate types, or like the June bearing are going to be the determinate strawberries. And yeah, the production on them just carries through the whole season. So if you want to eat them fresh, those are probably the best way to go. A bush plant is really a determinate plant. So if you're buying bush beans, those are determinates. So they're really good for if you want to preserve a bunch of them at the same time, get the determinates. So I'm hoping you guys can still find some seeds out there. It's been in pretty high demand and short supply. So yeah, I guess that's all I have for now.
Well, that's good, Shauna. I do have one question real quick. If I have an indeterminate tomato, yep. Some of the old timers around here will tell us you can pinch the top of it off and it will quit growing tall, but it will bush out. Is that the case with any and all tomatoes, whether indeterminate or determinate, or is it just indeterminate, or is it really true? Is it an old wives' tale?
That is a good question. I have never been really great on pruning my tomatoes, so I haven't really focused on keeping them shorter. I do know that if you prune the tops, it will usually focus more energy on building the fruit instead of growing taller. So it probably does have some truth to that. I just don't have a lot of firsthand experience on it because, like I said, I just kind of let my tomatoes go pretty much besides pruning the suckers off. So
I'm with you on that. I just let mine grow. But another thing that and we're coming into some really hot times, and one of the best things to do is to grow salad greens. And Kathy's going to cover that for us and give us some ideas on that.
Hi, everybody. Growing salad greens is something you can do, if not right now in your area, then pretty soon you should be able to. In fact, here in Oklahoma, we're getting to the very end of that season. It's just too hot. Lettuce especially likes cooler weather, and it actually germinates better when the ground is the soil temperature is about 50 to 70 degrees. Once it's over 80 degrees, soil temperature is just not going to germinate anymore. And any plants that you have growing are probably going to start bolting and going to seed and tasting pretty bitter. So if you have the right conditions now, this is a good time to plant it. What I like to do is, I love growing lettuce, but lettuce doesn't like me very much, and I don't eat it very much, but my husband loves lettuce. So I grow it for him. You know, one of the first things that comes out of the garden, and it's kind of a reward to him for helping me. So I try to give him some good greens to eat. And because it's only him, I don't grow a lot of lettuce. So I try to grow different varieties all at once so that he doesn't have just one kind, one taste, one flavor. I like to plant a lot of different kinds. That way he can make, you know, mixed green salad and enjoy that. It's better than going to a restaurant. So that's what I try to do. Some years, like this year, it's hard to find seeds. And maybe they won't have exactly what I'm looking for, but I've come up with kind of a fun idea. Last year or the year before, I had several different packets of different kinds of lettuce with not many seeds left in them. And some of them were older packets as well. So I actually took all my seeds, lettuce seeds, and put them all in a baggie and just mixed them all up. And that was my lettuce blend that year. Then last year, I went out and bought another kind of lettuce seeds, and I just poured those seeds in here too. So every year it's different, but it's very delicious, and he enjoys it that way. If you can't find one particular kind, you can try another kind. You can just put them all together like that, like I have. You can even come up with like a signature blend, your own blend of lettuce that you're famous for, because that's what your neighbors know you have. You might like this kind and this kind and this kind, and that's what you always buy, and you just take the seed packets and mix them all together and plant those. This year I have, as well as whatever's in that baggie, because I really couldn't tell you anymore what's in there. I have some gourmet lettuce blend. I have some edible landscape lettuce that comes in several different colors. And some from, this is Paris Island Cause lettuce from Baker Creek. And I'll just take some of that and just plant it along with all those other varieties. I like to have a dark green lettuce, a lighter green color, a red or purple, a frilly kind of lettuce, a smooth kind of lettuce. Just, you know, it just speaks to all of your senses, and it's just fun to grow and fun to eat as well. Because lettuce has little teeny tiny seeds, it can be hard to plant. Some people say they plant it much too thickly and it just is hard to grow. My grandmother taught me something interesting. She says, mix those seeds with a handful of sand. That way when you pick up so many, you know, fingerful of seeds, it won't have quite as many seeds in it. Another thing that I have done is I save my spice jars. This one in particular, once I find the right side, has the holes. It's a spice jar, you know, you open it up and pour your spices in. I save the empty ones for several different reasons, but this one is my lettuce planting jar. And I just pour all the seeds inside, put the top on, and just sprinkle them on top of the soil. And you just cover them for about 1/8 of an inch deep, just very lightly, and keep them watered. And they should germinate in about 5 to 8 days. So it's a very quick growing crop as well. And let's see, did I miss anything here? Oh, if you don't have a garden, lettuce is easy to grow in a large container. You could actually grow a salad garden in a pot. A small child's wading pool is a fun one to grow salad lettuce in. And you can also grow a little bit of lettuce in a large bowl in your kitchen all summer long, especially if you have air conditioning so that it's cooler inside than it is outside. So that's about all I have for you today about lettuce and various greens, different kinds. And just don't be afraid to mix up whatever you can find. If you can't find something that, you know, you've always grown, be adventurous, get something different, mix them all together and see what happens. You might find a new favorite. Julie?
Okay. Kathy, you've made me hungry for a good salad now. So you've gotten your seeds ordered. You got some great ideas for a salad garden. Annie is going to talk to us about things you can find around the house to plant your seeds in without spending a whole lot of money on the pots to get them started. Annie.
Well, listen, I originally wanted to make your own seed starters, and in light of course, what is going on in the world and a shortage of what seems to be everything I needed to get to do that, I did change my topic to things you could use around the house. And I'm actually really surprised at the number of things that I found. Now, some of these won't pertain to everybody because everybody doesn't eat or drink the same things or use the same things in their home. But with that said, I want to add, Kathy, that lettuce grows great in gutters. We literally hang gutters on the sides of our house, those short pieces that were left over, and we fill them with dirt. And if they get enough sun, and they're perfect because you can lean them one way or the other to drain, but that's how I grow my lettuce. So I just wanted to add that. Anyway, so I have these couple of options here. I had to think of ways, because I'm in Pennsylvania, I'm 900 miles away from everything that I know. All my raised beds, my bins, my greenhouse pots, my potting soil. So I had to get really creative in the city finding ways to start your seeds. So here's what I found. First of all, this is a K-cup. And when I first took it, I was going to throw it away. And then I thought, you know what? These are great, believe it or not, to start like maybe like a squash plant or a watermelon plant, something that you just kind of want to get it started enough to get a green top on it. Maybe you only got 2 weeks or 3 weeks left before it gets too cold, or you only have so much time left before the frost stops, but you want to have them started. You can't let them get too big in here because, I mean, here's my finger. They're not very big, but they're great to start like 1 or 2 small seeds of something in. So, and they're great for kids. Carrots, you want kids to see how carrots sprout. A cut carrot is perfect in here. You put the water in, put the little cut carrot, and the pops will stop. And the nice thing is, I mean, they are plastic, and I'm not a big thing of plastic, but you can throw them away. So that's one. The next one is a jar. This was just minced garlic that my daughter used for making spaghetti sauce. The jar was empty. You can put dirt in this. You can put water in this if you want to start regular plants, but it's great to start little seeds. And I would recommend that you start the type of seeds that you can actually get your fingers in around the plant, maybe 1 or 2 things. Again, it's a small version, but you know, you don't have anything, and the dollar stores like here don't have any pots or potting soil. This is a nice option. You can use any size. This is my favorite. You're probably going to laugh at me, but this woman loves blueberry muffins. And here, unlike in Florida, they actually come in a 4-pack. Well, it's got this piece in the middle that will separate the 4 round holes. And the nice thing about this is you can start your little seeds or sprouts. Sprouts are great in here. Like if you don't want to do full radishes, but you want to grow the green sprouts, these are great for those sprouts. And the other nice thing is, because it has no holes in the bottom, once you get your stuff planted in here and you get it in a sunny window, if you close the lid, it's now like a little terrarium. So it condenses and keeps its own moisture, and you don't have to water it as often. Rule of thumb is when the sprouts hit the top of the container, it's ready to go. So you just simply open up your container back up, you take your sprouts out, and you're good to go. So that was one. Another one is this one. This had raspberries in it. You're gonna laugh, but I grow catnip in this. My cat loves catnip in Florida, and these are perfect because catnip actually forms a mat on the bottom. So you can lay these in a plastic container. You can put your little bit of dirt in the bottom and start your seeds. These are also good for sprouts, but they do have holes in the bottom. So I don't recommend you putting this on like a wooden counter or a windowsill and watering it, because you'll water everything on it, below it, near it, and around it. But you can set it in a container, and it's really good for that. I do have I'm sure that you have seen these on the internet before. A lot of people use 2-liter bottles, and they'll cut the top off and they'll turn it upside down, stick it inside. Okay, well, this was a half-gallon tea container that I cut in half. And this is the neatest thing. First of all, the bottom you can use with water to start plants in. You can put dirt in and start seeds in here. Or you can leave the lid off. You can put a rock in the bottom, something that doesn't block the hole, but maybe just keeps it from everything falling through. You put your dirt in here. After you put a long piece of yarn hanging from the bottom. The yarn comes through the hole. It goes into this, which has your water. This sits on top. Your plant grows in here, and the water stays in the bottom of the pot. So it doesn't leak. You can keep it going. If you don't want to, and you want to go in here, you put the lid back on. And I have these everywhere. I have to admit, I do this with gallon jugs. But now you have a pour spot with a handle. for the top. So I've used them both pieces. Lastly, it was the only DIY seed starter that I could come up with, other than, well, that I could show you, I should say. And this is, ironically, through this epidemic, a toilet paper tube. And I know that everybody has these. All that I did was I just took a normal sized toilet paper tube. I put a slice, 4 slices, one's matching this way, one's matching this way. You just fold the bottom down. And when you turn it upside down, you plant your seeds in it. The nice thing about this is you can put this right in the ground because it's paper. You don't have to take the pot back out of there. You can stick this inside one of these little pudding cups if you want, so that it doesn't fall apart. You can put these inside of a tray, or you can take foil like I did. You can make a little thing that fits right over it. You stick it in there, and then that way the water doesn't run out. Now, one of the things that I did want to show you guys, and believe it or not, our grocery store had none, but grapefruit or oranges. You know, kids love oranges. People love grapefruit in the morning. If you take a round grapefruit or an orange and you cut it directly in half, you peel the orange out of it. Doesn't matter if that white pith is still inside, that's okay. You turn it on its side, you fill it with dirt, you put your seeds in there, and you can put it right in the ground. So you have your compost and you have your seeds at the same time. Basically anything around your house, a coffee cup, a mug, anything you can use for. And let me tell you, when you live up here where I do right now, and there's nothing in the stores, I couldn't even get potting soil to show you the actual pots, but any little containers work, from K-cups to, my daughter actually has a muffin tin with radish seeds in it in her porch. And I was going to bring it up, but it was so rusty, I didn't want to share what it looked like from you, but it was a muffin cup that her husband had used a knife to scrape the muffins out of, and it had scraped the Teflon off. Well, you don't want to cook with that anymore because it gets in your food, but instead of throwing it away, they make perfect seed starters. I mean, they're just little containers. So basically anything you find around your house, anything laying around can be used as a seed starter. But be creative, because, you know, we don't always have to use pots. If you're just going to put it in the ground, if it's something you're just going to throw away normally, I mean, out of everything that I have here, I paid nothing. There was no cost. I mean, even to the jars, you know, people have glass jars everywhere from everything, spaghetti sauce, anything. All of those are good. I did get a suggestion, and I didn't get one, or I would have showed you. Believe it or not, and I never thought to do this. You guys are going to love this, but you know, when you buy a bar of soap, it comes in a box. You unpack the box and you pull the bar of soap out. Well, you know, if you use that box and you plant in it, not only do you have a seed starter that can go right in the ground, but the pests don't bother it because it's got soap. And the smell of soap will keep the bugs away. So if you want to start something that the bugs would normally like maybe eat up while it's young, those are like perfect. And what else would you do with them? We throw them away anyway. So soap boxes make a really good one. Laundry soap boxes, the plastic containers from laundry soap you can use, the bottom of a dishwashing detergent container, anything that had soap in it prior is great to start seeds in because you won't have any bugs or gnats or anything creepy crawly in it. So that's all I got for you though, but there's some creative ideas there. So if you can find seeds, which I could find seeds, I just couldn't find no pots.
Well, I don't really like pests in my garden, so I think I'm going to start saving all my soap boxes. And speaking on soap boxes, we have all been standing on ours, I guess, tonight, and there have been a few technical difficulties, so I hope y'all kind of overlook those. But we're going to meet next week again right here on the porch. We're going to have our rockers. We're going to be discussing fun things. We hope you join us again. And once you've watched the video, both in the Facebook group and on the YouTube, we will post the websites and posts where you can get more information on all of these things. And again, if you have questions or if you have ideas and comments, please let us know, because we're happy to answer the questions, and every one of us feel like we can learn something new every day. Until next week, we will see y'all on the porch later.